Why do you think people make accusations that you like attention?
I'm bewildered by this fake narrative. I've avoided the spotlight at all costs for the last 10 years. I refused every internet interview request I've gotten. I'm bombarded with interview requests I turned down. Before my incarceration, I auditioned for a couple of reality shows. Big fucking deal. The media enjoys using a few reality show auditions as undeniable proof of narcissism. So I guess our entire society must be sick since millions of people auditioned for way more reality shows than I did. By the way, I was asked, practically harassed, to participate in these auditions. I never wanted to do any auditions for reality shows. Sorry folks, this narrative of me being an attention seeker is just more rapidly sensational fake news, peddled by the desperate fools in the media to sell their failing papers.
Why were you being accused of having connections with Luka Magnotta?
This story is so stupid. David D'Amato and other online stalkers obsessed with me engaged in a smear campaign, starting this rumor. I had zero involvement in this stupid rumor. And some radio station in Toronto called me in 2007 offering to help clear it up. After I finished the radio interview, some loser tabloid reporter in Toronto contacted me begging for an interview. I forgot this idiot's name, but I agreed to allow him to help me out with this rumor and clear it up. He kept calling me afterwards, but I ignored him. It was clear he was unstable and obsessed with me. I can't even remember his name. It's pure defamation. People linking me to this woman. It's slander, saying I started it. It was all obsessed internet stalkers. I denied it, and people need to move on. At my trial, I was forced to admit to wildly bizarre lies by my defense team in order to obtain an NCR defense. My lawyers would bring me lies told about me and insist I agree to them in order to appear sick at trial. I refused to admit to these stupid lies, but I was pressured and told it was the only way to obtain a not criminally responsible verdict. As I've said, these doctor reports are complete lies, and people need to stop referencing them to push their fake news narrative. I never was involved with this rumor, and I completely deny all connections. People need to just move on and stop lying. It's all fake news.
You have been accused of being a necrophiliac and a cannibal. Do you care to respond?
Why? Because I worked at a funeral home in the past. I worked for 6 months as an assistant and enjoyed it when I was a teen. People can lie all they want about me, but I'll tell the truth about them.
Can you speak about your mental defense at the trial?
It was all a lie, orchestrated by lawyers to obtain a not criminally responsible defense. It all started when I was a teen. My manager forced me to work as a teen escort and then came up with the idea to get even more money selling prescription drugs on the black market. So I was forced to see doctors, a lot of them, and pretend to have issues. They would write prescriptions for sedatives, and my manager would sell the drugs on the black market for large amounts of money. This created a large paper trail, which was used at trial to exploit the system. None of this was my idea, and I was actually the victim of domestic abuse throughout my life. My manager even forced me to check into different hospitals to make the stories more believable and obtain more sedatives. It was all against my will. I never ever had any psychiatric issues. I didn't take any of those medications, and I take no medications now. Nothing is wrong with my father in any way, and we all just laugh at these stupid stories.
What is your reaction to how your relatives speak about you and people claiming to have dated you in the past?
Firstly, co-author. I spoke with him once by phone, and that's it. He seemed very unprofessional and borderline idiotic. I refused to promote this. I refused to even promote this book of lies and ignored it. I didn't even read it. I'm told it was all incoherent ramblings and blatant disregard for the truth. And as for you telling me people are claiming to be in relationships with me, it's all lies. I don't even know any of these people. I don't know who any of them are. I'm told some irrelevant losers who posed for pics with me in the past, or I had brief encounters with, spin lies to gain attention. None of my past relationships comment on me. My ex-fiancés don't comment on me, and anyone claiming otherwise is a complete liar and con artist. Nobody I know speaks with the press, so the lying fake news media interviews irrelevant nobodies I've never met to peddle their papers. Precisely the trickery I despise from the press. I have zero communication with my relatives. My choice. My friends don't speak to the media. Don't believe fake news.
You are accused of being involved in unsolved murders in Canada, Miami, New York, Hollywood, Long Island, England, and other places. What is your reaction?
I'm not dignifying this with a response. Next.
You mentioned that you were framed. Can you speak about John Bittrolf and Manny Lopez?
John Bitteroff was a client of mine, and so was Manny Lopez. I was the victim of domestic abuse. While I was living at the Leaside Towers in Toronto, my condo was broken into by Manny Lopez, and he brutally assaulted me. The police in Toronto were completely useless and did nothing. I lived in New York City, and I gave police there info, but the idiotic cops had tunnel vision on me. Yes, folks, the Toronto police are incompetent imbeciles. They have bungled countless cases and are completely useless.
You have had a lot of high-powered clients in the government. How are these people involved?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. Next.
What role did the mafia play in your life?
I was engaged to my ex-fiancé, Ron. He was involved with the Russian mafia. It's no secret. They played a big part in my life. My life was exactly like the Sopranos in every way.
What's your opinion on fake news?
It's the biggest enemy of the people. As you've heard, almost everything reported about me has been a complete lie, and the picture painted is completely false. Society doesn't need the mainstream media any longer since social media exists. Society has once again been fooled by the fake news media. They are corrupt as hell, and laws need to be passed to prevent this from happening again.
Were you involved in smuggling and dark web sex rings?
I'm not answering this stupid question. Next.
Were you inspired by the film Basic Instinct?
Absolutely not. More fake news. Next.
What exactly happened in London, England?